And now, we're live. And then we're going to say to all our fans, Happy New Year. And then we're going to do this.
This is True OF Entertainment.
Well, here we go. It's the man that promises you nothing and delivers. It's the veritable man motor mouth. It's Rode Woods who feels the need to call himself Rob Vega. It somehow makes him feel important. Anyway, do have a listen and try not to throw up.
Hey, nice graphics from David, huh?
What was that? Voiceover what? Who was that? What was that about?
I don't even want to run it again so you can see it.
Or something like that. I don't know. That is not.
That's his Norwegian friend that does the welcome to.
No, but I did the voiceover. I did it.
I was the voice artist in this thing. It was me.
It's me. Well, then here's what we have to do. We have to take David out back like a horse and shoot him. That's it. Okay. All right, we'll get a new David. I mean, it's the way it works.
Treat him.
Make him
treat him like an immigrant.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, boom! The first shots are fired. Hey, Steve, I got to show you something.
2025. Yeah, tell me.
Happy. Yeah, we're going to call it. Seriously, 2024. See ya. This is 2020 Thrive.
Okay.
That's it. And so much has happened with me. I don't know.
God, tell us.
I don't want to get all personal. Yeah, well, I was with a talent agent for nearly a quarter of a century, and
I thought you were going to say something else. I got a little worried.
Been married for nearly 31 years. That's another story. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a talent agent. Something very different entirely. Yes, exactly. Although, never mind. Okay. So that ran its course, and I've changed. It's like changing business partners, and it's been an insane. What are we? We are barely into the year, and it has been crazy. And I say to people sometimes, even if things are going well, not for husbands and wives, but sometimes you just want to change things, or test the waters, try it out, see if it works. Be nice about it. Don't be rude about it. I mean, if you have to be rude about it, fine, but try not to be. And I can say a change has definitely been. It feels like I'm on holiday. Sorry, vacation.
Oh, holiday. We say holiday now. We're trying to get American to speak like I've been saying it forever. So
the French say en vacances, so vacation.
The French touch themselves in public. So what are you going to do? So one of those things. So,
and they touched England for 500 years, and
that explains a lot.
In what offloaded their language. Right. I love French. I think it's a great language. Rugby team, I don't want to talk about them, but the language, you can't argue. Right. Well, not with me anyway. I think it's fantastic. Brilliant language. Been trying to learn for a couple of years. I'm okay. I'm not bad. Reading and writing, but the listening is, they speak so fast. They say the same thing about us. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I took French at university. And then when the first time I went to France, I'm like, I'm going to use my French. And I was like, bonjour. And the guy's looking at me at the restaurant. He's like, ooh. And I tried to order a hamburger. And he goes, you're American? I go, yes. Go speak English. I go, okay, fine. And I never spoke French since then. And then I walked into a shop. I think I've told the story before, outside of the Louvre with my friend and his wife. And I was wearing a shirt that had my university name on it. And I walked in and I went, bonjour. And my friend's wife, like, very skinny, like, that sounds very Italian. I was like, well, whatever. Yeah. The little French girl comes running over to me because, how may I help you, monsieur? In English. And I was like, I was just like, she's taking me around. And meanwhile, my wife's friend's trying to talk to these people in French, and they won't give her the time of day. And I said to her when we left the place, I go, listen, when you have a stick up your ass, no one wants to help you. I said, I just walk in goofy. I know I don't speak the language, and they're more than happy to help me. And she's like, oh, yeah, there you go. You have to be nice. There you go.
So I will say, often I've been to France a few times, and I tell people I'm going, and the common retort is, well, they're rude to English people. They don't like the English people. They whatever. Now, hang on. Let me just say that's what I've heard. And well, let me just say, in defense of French people, never happened to be. Never, ever, ever. In fact, they were impossibly polite. They were almost stalking me. It was crazy. But here's a side note.
Yes.
I do have a love for the country. I do enjoy their language. I love their food, and I love their way. So maybe that comes across. But here's the thing I would say: the thing that really helped me is I kind of figured this out, but it's been subsequently pointed out to many people by many people, and that is when you go to any country, including France. But I'll stick with France for now. What you should say, I would say to anybody, if you go to France, they don't expect you. They don't expect everybody to speak French, but what you want to do is have a couple of friendly words. But there is one friendly word that you really need. When you walk into a restaurant, cafe, whatever it is, just say bonjour.
That's it.
Do that.
Now, I also
that's
say sur
important.
la couch.
I'll tell you why that's important. I'll tell you why that's important, because what it does is it acknowledges that you are in France. Right. You speaking a bit of the language. They will hear possibly from your accent that you are not French, but they will it cools the temperature. Cools the temperature wonderfully. And but having said that, I've never had an issue. The first time I went to second time I went to Paris, I did a very silly thing. I was catching the train from, is it St. Pancras to Guernsey? I think that's what it is. That's
they have the St. Pancras. Oh, of course. So.
Okay. But the Eurostar, I caught the Eurostar, and I left all my stuff on the train, including my passport. So that wasn't very helpful.
No.
So when I got to the Gare du Nord, I ran around trying to get help from everybody, and they honestly couldn't do enough for me. They were super friendly, and that's how it's been for me with the country. I'm sure there's some rude people that have. What I wanted to say was I went to the lost property counter, and I did the whole thing. Bonjour, je m'appelle Rod, je viens d'Afrique du Sud, blah blah blah. And I told him I'd lost my passport, and the guy, he was scowling when I walked up. A couple of sentences in, he was laughing. Now, it wasn't so much, it was somewhere between a laugh at and a laugh with. So he was enjoying the fact, you could understand me, he was enjoying what I was saying, but obviously my pronunciation was a bit off. He enjoyed the fact that I was speaking the language, but he found it funny the way I was speaking it. But it was great. It was such an icebreaker. And that particular guy I got to know very well, and he recommended, I hadn't booked anything. I just took a chance. And he showed me where to go. The chap that he put me onto drove me around the city. We looked at things. He showed me stuff. This is what you should see. Anyway, thank you so much. And then I said to him, I reminded him, or it came up in the conversation, I said, je viens d'Afrique du Sud. I'm from South Africa. And he, rugby. Monet du Plessis. God. And it was just such an icebreaker. Then I went to the hotel, and I thought, all right, there was a beautiful woman there, and I thought, I'm going to try my French. I'm going to start. And same thing happened. The sentence in, the realization, you could see on her face, she realized, okay, not French, not bad. I got about 6 out of 10 for my speaking. And she launched straight into English, and she says, no, my English is better than your French. So we stick with English.
That's what I got, basically, yeah.
But they were fine. They were fine. This crap that people say they're so rude. They're not. They're not rude. But then I say to people, here's the thing. If you're English or you're American, whatever it is, and someone comes over from, I don't know, Sweden, for example, and wanders into a restaurant in New York City and just babbles off in Swedish.
Like the Swedish chef? Like,
yeah, but I'm saying, what are people going to do? They won't understand him, and they go, what are you doing? New York City, speak English. Now, I guess in a way, that's what the Parisians are doing, but they're not even that rude. I'm just saying.
No, they're very. I've been to France about 10 times.
Fantastic.
And I will say that I have never, knock on wood, or the French hookers, I've never had. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they speak English. But no, I've never had a bad experience. I mean, whether it's been we took the train underneath the channel, and whether it's been that through their customs, whether it's been at a restaurant, a hotel, I always go bonjour. or buongiorno, because they could look at me as a goof. But I
No, don't
found
say
this.
bonjour now.
I do. I do. I go buongiorno, and they're all those. Oh, he's American, and then
Leave
they
the
just
piece off
and
at
they
the
all
end.
want to and they all want to practice their English on you, and it's great.
Yeah.
And I've never, even the cab drivers, and well, now they're Uber, but no one's ever. I've never had a bad time in France. I enjoy it. It's a very cool thing. I mean, except for the French people, it's a great place.
Oh wow! I have to say, every time I go there, I say things to them like, je ne veux pas l'anglais, s'il vous plaît. Mon anglais est très bien. Je vous parle en français. And the guy goes,
yeah.
And the guy goes, yeah, I don't want to be your teacher.
Right.
I don't want to be your professor, your teacher. Don't worry about it. But they're very cool. I must say. By the way, this portion of the show is brought to you by French Tourism. Visit often. Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, don't forget to send the check. You're talking about things that you did. So I went to the doctor a couple of days ago, and he told me I had to stop masturbating. And I was like, why? He says, because I'm examining you. And potato.
Wow.
But I'm just saying. So what can I tell you?
Were you on the New York? What's it? The Metro? Oh God! Apparently that happens on the Metro quite a lot.
Yes, it does. But I wasn't there, so
all I can say. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's it. That's all I got.
Honestly, if you're doing that on the Metro, New York Metro, look, power to you. But
God bless
really,
you.
What
on the Metro? There's not that many.
Hey,
I've seen the people. There's
not
nothing
exactly
there
romantic.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, what is attractive? Let me ask you this. I hear these stories quite often. These people getting busy with themselves on the Metro, and I go, okay, whatever. I could give two shits about that. But what is it about the Metro? What is it about sitting in a train in a tight? Oh, wait a minute.
There you go.
That makes you all, ooh, I got to rub one out now. I'm in a train. It's this filthy, rat-infested, whatever this is with pee and crap everywhere, and it really
that was in the
going.
70s. And
really,
now the train or the Metro in New York City nowadays is very nice. I mean, they buy tablecloths, they have people playing instruments. So there's not a lot. So far I've been lucky enough that I've never seen anybody rub one out on a Metro in New York
me neither.
City. So
I just hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's because we spread false rumors so the tourists don't come. But yeah, it's very good. But I just thought that thing about the doctor was funny, so I thought I would throw that in there. And I'm not going to tell you if it's true or not. But anyway, we have.
Does it matter?
It doesn't. It's just people chuckle. Somebody that's listening on the podcast that's driving their car right now hit the tree, and they're just like, "This guy, I can't believe it."
I can't believe it.
Yeah. So I know we're going to talk about something I think is even funnier than that. And it was Mr.
Wait for it. Oh, there it is. I was going to do a drum roll. Stephen, over to you.
There you go. We should get a drum roll. David should do one day. But we're going to talk about Trump wanting to name the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. What do you think of that?
Whatever.
Really? Just whatever? No big deal?
I mean, I don't know what. Let me ask you this. I saw that and I thought, okay, but what about doing stuff that's actually going to mean something to people?
No, that won't happen. That's Trump.
Who gives a shit? It can be called the Gulf of the North Pole for anyone cares. Why is that? It's going to be expensive. A lot of maps will have to be changed, and Google Maps will be really upset about that. But I mean, do whatever you want. Call it the Gulf of whatever. It doesn't change anything. This is the weird thing. He wants to take over this country, that country, this country.
Oh no, Greenland.
I don't even know if he does. I don't care. I mean, whatever.
No. He said he wants Greenland and the Panama Canal back. There's a couple articles in the FT. But wait. Here's the best part about the
the U.S. own Greenland. What does he mean? He wants it back?
No, Panama Canal. Here's the president of Mexico said regarding the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. Yes. He suggested U.S. territories that were previously part of Mexico should be called Mexican American.
Yeah, she used that old map, didn't she? She used that old.
Yeah, I'm looking at the old map right now on the FT thing, and she wants it to be called Mexican American. And I'm kind of like,
well, she's joking, obviously.
Well, yeah, and she said Donald wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, and we'll rename some other things. And then the next article in the FT was about the Greenland. Now, Greenland's different. Greenland's all about military strategy. Like, there's only 57,000 people there, so it's like an apartment building in New York. Like, you can send PS-137, they'll go kick their ass. It's not a big deal. Like a bunch of fourth graders, they'll go, "I'm from New York." Done. You know what I mean? So Greenland's not going to give a big fight. but it's really, we have 250 American service people there. And
Yeah.
apparently it's more
What's
of
it?
a Russia China thing.
Pacific base? Pacific, something like that.
Yeah,
What's
some name if you're from San Francisco, that's just great.
No, it's
So
on the north. I know where it
yeah,
is. It's right up there on the
it's
northwest
up
coast.
here on the
see
map.
you.
It's somewhere on this side. Yeah.
I
So
see you. Yeah.
for those people that are watching on the podcast. So yeah, so I thought that was interesting. And then Panama, apparently, he's not happy that we gave it early to them. He wants the 20 years back. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. But a lot of people don't know that all the underwater cables in the world go through the Panama Canal. So the Panama Canal is actually very strategic.
I get it, but the Greenland thing is quite interesting for me because when he was president before, he spoke about it.
Greenland. Yeah,
but I mean, it's not the first time. I mean, back in the 1860s, America was going to buy. What was it? I think they offered them $100 million, or was that later? I can't remember. Something like that. And Denmark said, and the Danes said no. They said no, thank you. I don't know what
like that.
Maybe. Oh, I don't know. They're more peaceful. The Danish people are very peaceful people. I deal with a couple of Danish people. They're very nice. Very nice.
Are they? Okay.
I bet you, though, that most people are not really. I mean, so what? Have you seen Greenland? I mean, it's.
I have. It's not green at all.
It's not. Well, you know what? You know the story. You know why it's called Greenland.
Yes.
You know, yes.
They wanted people
they call Iceland to keep people away.
Yeah, Greenland to bring you there.
Yeah, go there. It's full of ice. Have fun. See ya. And
it's a beautiful country.
Well, it's a big iceberg. So yeah, cool.
One day.
I mean, but really, I look at these things and I go, is this what our news is about now? I mean,
yes.
And the interesting thing is, I'll tell you something which is interesting. Somebody said, well, first of all, Greenland's not for sale. What was the comment I heard? Greenland is not for sale, unlike the American presidency. To which someone said, no, it's not for sale. Elon's bought it already.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. Sold American.
I just don't know. It's so ridiculous. Well,
now he wants to buy the UK, right? He's telling him that the Labour guy's got to get out of the UK. Like, hey, it's like, here's what I really find funny about this whole thing.
It's going cheap right now, for sure.
He's just a rich guy. And so basically, if you're a rich guy and people think you're smart, you don't have to be, but if you're the richest person, so if I became the richest person in the world, everyone's going to teeter on every single thing I say.
I know.
Why?
That's
like,
true.
If I'm going to teeter on anything, I would rather, and I'm not a big fan, but I'd rather listen to Warren Buffett. At least Warren Buffett, when he talks, gives you like value this, like he gives you something. When the other guy speaks, I don't want to say anything, he's from your country. He doesn't say anything. It's like mental masturbation.
I must say he's look, I don't want to be the one thing that I really don't, just to be clear, I'm not a big fan of criticizing. I don't like it because I've always felt, just on a serious note, I've always felt it's easy to throw shit at something. But what's harder is, what are you going to do? It's easier to fall down a mountain than it is to climb up a mountain. It's easier to moan about shit instead of saying, hang on, if I don't like something, what am I going to do? And if you can't do something, you should probably shut up. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I'm moving to Greenland.
People,
so,
what?
I'm going to move to Greenland. I'm moving to Greenland. So
okay.
That's what I'm doing.
Well, don't go to the north. That's where the base is. It's warmer in the south anyway. And it's closer to New York, which is fine. You can get your bagel. Fine. Good.
Yeah.
How far? It's not too far. New York City.
Actually, from Greenland to New York is closer than Denmark to New York.
Well, I know that. That's true. But Nook is, let's say, a couple of hours.
It's like 4 or 5 hours by air, I think. Yeah.
Bagels will still be frozen. I don't know. Well, they will be when they get there. But no, seriously, everyone, there's so much. The thing that I realized, I started this year and I thought to myself, we've just got to cut out all this. There's so much negativity. And it really, I mean, you can joke about it, but it really is a problem. There's so many people. This is what social media has done. It creates all these, and I guess we're sort of doing it now in a way, but I'm trying not to throw too much shade on stuff. And that is, try and build shit up. Stop trying to break things down. That the Mexican president, is she a president, prime minister, president?
No, she's president.
She made that joke. I mean, it was a joke. For the love of God, it's a joke, and it's funny. Oh my God, all these people. I have all the apps of all the news channels, CNN,
Oh, yeah.
MSNBC, Fox, and I don't look at it
Sure.
for news. I look at it for the comments because it really gives me some insight into people. I know what to expect on the media side because I'm in media. I understand that, but I look at what the people in the comment section are saying. It's extraordinary. And I thought, oh, here we go. Let's have a look at the comment section. I think this was Fox. And, oh, we don't need Mexico. We're going to take over Mexico. Jeez, mate. You've got to lighten the fuck up. Really, seriously. That is the problem with the world right now. No one's got a freaking sense of humor. Yes, there's stuff you have to worry about. Important shit. But damn, if the Mexican president stands up with a map and says, we'll name it Mexican America. Really? You what?
Oh, I mean, you know what the problem? Here's the problem. She's doing it as a joke.
No.
The orange guy, when he's talking about this stuff, he's not doing it as a joke. So she's making light of it. So she's doing what we do, which is make fun of things. He's doing it because he's the guy. And your countryman, I don't want to throw any more sticks at him, but why not? Who's trying to now like run countries from X? Yeah. He is like even the British people now are like, dude, you got to chill out. And there's an article, and like they're saying, even Zuckerberg's like, we don't even use our platform. The other thing I found interesting, because Trump now is president and Musk doesn't check facts anymore, Facebook and all the other social media things that were using third-party content fact checkers, they're like, we're not going to do that anymore. And I'm like, wow. So we really are going to become a planet of just whatever. And I'm like, that's going to be really interesting. So at least if you read like a real newspaper or watch a real news show, not Fox, you'll at least get a clue of what's going on. But like, I mean, I don't look at Facebook or any of that crap, so I don't see all the BS that's out there. But I'm like, really, you're not going to fact check stuff,
Steve? The problem is, I'm all for information. I'm not about shutting shit down. Just to be clear, I don't want to shut anybody down. Donald can stand there and say what he likes. Elon can stand there and say, that's fine. Not that they need my permission. Go ahead, have at it.
They do need it, by the way.
I'm not about shutting speech down. The part that I'm concerned about is how much credibility people give those bullshit sources. So what I'm saying is, by all means, listen. By all means, take note. But do your own. Learn to disseminate fact. But if you can't do that, don't immediately assume that is all true. That's it. That's all I'm saying. That
I agree.
If you figure out it's true somehow in your own universe, great. But you've got to expect the bullshit that's going to come. Know it's coming and say, okay, there it is. Done. And that's fine. You know what? The weird thing is, there's so many people who moan about Trump, and I go, to be honest with you, if you go back, if you're really bored, there's plenty of YouTube stuff, if that's where you get, if that's your thing. There is YouTube stuff tracking this man for the last 40 years. He has never changed. He is no different. It's not like it's a surprise. Everyone goes, oh, look what he's doing. He's always done that. And I have to say one thing about him is his character over the last 40 years has been absolutely consistent. I can't say that about many people. He's one, this is who I am, that's who I am, bang, 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 and he never changes.
He did with one thing. He did change. He got more orange as he got older.
Oh my God.
So that he did. He became more orange.
He took one of those self-improvement makeup courses. What can I say?
But here's the good thing, because we're not fact checking anymore, and we've said this on the Habano
cigar. No facts. What do we need facts for? Screw facts.
We've basically said that as of February 1st, Trump is lifting this Cuban cigar embargo, and there'll be Cuban cigars in America. So
there you go.
It's news, because we've said it on the internet, so it's true, and no one's fact checking. So there you go, Mark Zuckerberg.
No, you just said that the cigars will no longer come from Cuba. Even if they do, they come from Canada, which is now the 51st state.
Oh my God!
Run by Governor Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, you know what? I'm okay with that, because then the kids would be athletic and play hockey. So it'd be like, instead of these fat little Canadian kids that you roll down the street and make snowmen out. I'm not saying that they're lazy, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? When their women wear stilettos, they strike oil. You know what I'm trying to tell you? They're big women. Yeah, big. Whoa, big women.
Hang on. I'm going to make it. That's good. Stilettos strike oil. Done. That's going on the show tonight. I like that. That is That is spectacular.
That's a big woman. In fact, this one of the women that I met there was so large. When a police officer saw her on a corner, he told her to break it up. So the lunch. Yeah,
She was breaking it up. She was
She
breaking
was
it
just right there. She
She
was
was breaking
drilling
it up.
foil. Yeah,
Hey,
breaking it
get
up.
off the sidewalk. You're breaking it up.
She
Yeah.
told me when
no.
she went to the Macy Days parade, they wanted to put ropes on her. I was like, "Whoa, we are a
Oh
big
my
woman, man."
Lord.
God, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
big woman.
Lord.
Yeah,
But
that's a big woman.
Steve, this is what
Yeah.
the world needs. I think I don't
Big
have
women?
any resolution. I hate them. They are
Right.
bullshit.
Right.
But the only thing for me, I've directed this to myself. I
Yeah.
was light, and I'm going to try and get lighter. I'm
What are
waiting
you
for the
like?
comeback.
Skin color? I don't think you can get much lighter, pal. You're
Yeah,
pale
I
as it
know.
is.
I think so. I got a bit of sun. Been
Okay.
summer here. It's been 40 degrees, close to.
Ooh.
We
So 40
yeah.
degrees quickly in America is 110 Fahrenheit. Go ahead. So,
Yeah, it's been crazy. So I've just got bright lights on me. I've got
Right.
bright lights. No, I was just saying just basically lighten up. And I would say that to everybody, just lighten the fuck up. Really. Yeah. God, that's the problem. I see these, you see these people at rallies and conventions, and they're, oh, and you go,
wow.
you might get your political way, but you'll be dead from the heart attack that it's going to give you. Wow. Yeah. And I just hope that look, the man's the president. There it is. So deal with it.
Oh no. On the 20th, he gets sworn in. We got 11 days to go, and this time on the 6th,
Kamala can still do it. Nah, bullshit.
Yeah, no. On the 6th, what was it? There was an article in the FT that said, "Look at this. On the 6th of January, this time there was no insurrection. They just peacefully gave the power to the new president. January 20th is going to be his swearing in. It'll be there. You go, all done."
Steve, I read an article on that, and I thought, all right, let's have a look at the comments, and it was fantastic. So you'd think, how do you argue with that, right? How do you come back from that? You had one transition, which was whatever that was, and then this one where it went peacefully and smoothly. Right. So how do you come back from that? Well, the comments ranged from, well, Biden got where were those 20 million extra votes? Yeah, and there was the reason why we had such a smooth transition is because there were no stolen votes. And I go, you need to turn the page, but they won't. Yeah. People won't.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But that's humans around the world. They go, this is what I know, and this is the lane I'm staying in. And when I was studying for my degree, I do have one. First year psychology. There was a little cartoon, and it's probably quite a well-known cartoon. And there's this big fat guy sitting at a desk, and he says, "Right," and his assistant, who's like that, is standing next to him. And he slaps this thick wad of paper down. He says, "Right, that's the gist of what I want to say. Now get me some figures to back it up."
Right.
That's what we do. So you can find figures and facts and YouTube clips and social media posts and people, they said, to back up anything you want.
Yeah, I agree. I just think I just thought it was interesting that everything's like going smooth. And the other thing which is interesting, the Trump gets sentenced on Friday
to nothing.
Is that 34? Well, the judge said, "I'm not going to give you jail time," which apparently he could get. But because what he's trying to do is have everything overturned, so now they're going to go to the Supreme Court. So it really does pay to have money and people in your pocket. So they're trying to get it all thrown out before he's sworn in. Because he's saying, well, this immunity, I was immune, I was the president. And they're like, yeah, this had nothing to do with your presidency. And now I really hope they don't, because I really want to say that we had a felon as a president. I mean, that just really just makes America. That to me is like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? So what's the big deal? You're a felon. It's like, I don't know if he understands this. You've already been convicted. Just because you get pardoned or they throw it out, or the Supreme Court, the guy who cries all the time does whatever, you're still a felon. Who gives a shit? You're still the president. Nobody cares.
But to be fair, I mean, Steve, it's very empowering. It's very empowering, I think, for a country to have a felon as a president, because that sends out the clear message that anyone
could be president.
anyone. It's very empowering, Steve. You've got to
that.
acknowledge that. You've got to
I
acknowledge
think.
that.
Can I tell you? I think because it doesn't say you can't be. If it just says you have to be 35 years of old and born in America.
Yep.
That's it.
For now.
For now, yeah, I'm sure that'll change because Arnold or Elon will want to run. But at the end, well, Elon already won. He already gave the guy $1 billion. Anyway,
he's dating the president. He's dating the president.
He's dating the president's new boyfriend. I wonder when they have a fallout. I wonder how that's going to work.
Yes.
So but it is true if you think about it. If you say to someone, anyone can be president. And they're going to be like, well, no. And some guy's going to be like, I was like Michael Milken would say, I can't be. Yeah, you can, Mikey.
Yeah,
because Donald Trump's president and you were a convicted felon too. There you go.
Yeah, you're good.
And kudos. I don't think this is an issue. And listen, if you look at every politician, there's stuff in their closet. They just don't get caught. Look at the guy in South Korea. They're trying to impeach him. They want to imprison. I mean, it's the same. We're coming into a society now where the label of X, Y, or Z doesn't matter anymore. It really doesn't. You could literally Trump's right. He could go down Fifth Avenue, shoot somebody, and he'd be like, "Oh, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. I love it," and nothing will happen. Right? We live in the society of just everyone has their head up their ass, and that's where they like it. And all I said about the presidents, Trump and Musk, I don't know. We have to come up with a name for that. The Trump presidency is that Trusk. The Trusk.
Oh my, Trusk. Liz Truss over in the UK. Oh,
yeah, right. That's why Musk doesn't like him because it's their lover's name. So the Truss presidency, all I can say is, and I've said this on Lost Dollar, is that you've gone from A to D. Like you're going to cut, and do this and yada, yada. What are you going to get from E to Z? You better have a complete plan because so far, when I read the things and hear what they're saying, and I'm not talking on Instagram or Facebook, I mean like newspaper articles, actual press conferences where they're speaking, they're not going A through Z. So far, I've got A through D, A through E, A through G. No one's getting me to Z. So it's great that you got all this rhetoric for the shorts, and that makes Roll very happy for his show, and makes us very happy for our shows. But I'd like to see you actually A through Z. And I haven't heard anybody come up with an A through Z yet. I've heard a lot of middle of the alphabet. So I'm just looking forward to that.
Can I just clarify something?
Please.
Okay. I mentioned that Elon is dating Donald.
Yes, the Trusks.
That was only half a joke. Just look at the coverage. He hangs out with him for New Year's Eve. He goes down to Mar-a-Lago. They're drinking together. I know many couples that spend less time together than those two. And they're married. And they're married.
Oh, yeah.
And
Melania and Donald.
And they finish each other's sentences. Look, I mean, in years from now, or centuries, or decades from now, it's gonna be the Donnie and Elon show. It's gonna be fantastic. I mean, it's funny. It really is. It's hysterical. The scary part is that it's right now. It's the world's biggest economy. I think the thing that troubles a lot of people. As I say, I have a work visa for the US, but so I am a legal alien, like Sting. I can go there. I can come there. I'm not. I'm more legal than Elon was when he got in.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's right. I am an alien of extraordinary ability. That's what I am.
Congratulations! But, I can make my eyebrows with my tongue. So,
but it's just. Well, I guess the scary thing is, so I feel in a way, I don't claim to be an expert. I mean, what is an expert? Well, Don's an expert. That's true on everything. So we'll just leave that right there.
Knows everything.
But there is so much that I do know and more that I don't know. Let's put it that way. That's where I am in terms of the U.S., where it came about, the 13 colonies, the Louisiana Purchase, blah, 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 possibly the Greenland Purchase, but that's another story.
Mexican Purchase, sure.
Mexican Purchase. Well, is it really going to be a purchase? No,
just took it over.
Annexation? I don't know. And Panama give me? I'm not sure. Yeah. Wholly owned by the by a SEAL team. I don't know. Yeah. But the thing is, I think what scares a lot of people is the look. I've got lots of friends there, and I'm going to sound like Donald. I'm going to sound like Trump talking about the people at the Charleston rally. But there are a lot of good people that I know in the U.S. Okay, they're good people. They're very
They're
good people. That's fine, and they're normal
Uh,
people, and they're scratching their heads over it. And they
Sure.
they got to the polls last year and went, "What the fuck?
Why don't
Really?"
polls have anything to do with this? Leave them out. They have a
No, but
right-wing
well,
government.
not the polls. Where you vote,
Oh, God, the
you
voting
vote.
people. Oh,
The
I
voting
thought you
vote.
meant
Sorry,
Poland.
not the
Never
polls.
mind.
Sorry, not the polls. The voting thing, the
All
booth.
right.
And they got then they went, and I went, really? The
Yeah.
fuck? But they obviously believed they had to vote, and some didn't vote, whatever. And I think that's part of the problem. But it's also scary when you think that the bloke or the blokeess, maybe at some point,
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm not sure what Elon is going to identify with in a year's time. I'm not sure. Anyway,
He's going to
the
identify as a
person,
Trusk. A Trusk.
yes,
He's going to be a Trusk.
the person sitting in that office has
Right.
extraordinary power, and as they always said, my grandfather, who was also a big fan of the US, my grandfather did, he loved it, he went there a few times, didn't move there though. And interesting, he always said, and many people have said this, when America catches a cold, the rest of the world gets pneumonia, and that's never changed. That's what
true.
happened, and that's the problem with it. You can debate it and argue it, but that's just what it is. That's the reality. And I think if this was any other country, if it was, I don't know, Estonia, sorry, Estonia, I'm picking on you. People would go, we don't care who the president is or prime minister or whatever person that runs your country is. He can be a nut job. He can be as nutty as he wants.
Actually, I just read an article about that.
It doesn't affect the world in the same way. The problem with the American president is it has this ripple global effect, and therein lies the problem, and that's the issue. And I'm not convinced that the thing has been taken seriously enough. You've got to be very careful who you put in that office. But then people will respond and say, but with Joe, this happened, and with who was the other guy? Clinton,
Obama?
this happened, and it's all very tribal. And I go, no, you've got to, like George Washington said when he left office like 200 odd years ago. He said, "You've got to get away from political parties. You've got to look at the issues. What affects the ordinary American, the ordinary person, and." It's not fun and games. It's a very serious thing. You're appointing a very important person. It's not tribal warfare, but right now it is tribal warfare. It doesn't matter what. Look, it doesn't matter what he does. As you said, he can walk down Fifth Avenue and mow people down, and probably there would be somebody who would find a piece of legislation that would exonerate him. I don't know, and people say he deserves to be able to shoot people. He worked for it. God damn it. What do you mean? Don't you stop him. Wow, banning guns, you gun-hating left-wing piece of crap. And you just go, I expect people like that to be on the fringes. They're on every country. Every country has them. But there seems to be a lot more of them that have got a voice, and you just go, whoa, it's crazy. And that's on both sides, hey? That's on both sides, by the way.
I think they all have it.
That's right-wing, left-wing, and it is not peculiar to the US, but unfortunately, cold pneumonia. We've got, I mean, we could have a chat about what's going on in this country, and it's horrendous, far worse than what's going on in the US. But if we get a cold, everyone goes, "Do you need some remedy?"
I was going to say, would you like a tissue to blow your nose?
Exactly. Then it doesn't affect them the way what happens in the US affects the rest of the world. I love the fact that it happens, and I also hate the fact that happens. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy, and that's why the sense of humor gets lost, because it's quite a serious thing. When the future leader of the free world, and that is what the American president is, whether you like it or not, that's just a fact. It's the biggest military, it's the biggest economy. Fact, it's just a fact. Deal with it. When he stands up, and the most important thing to him is, we need to buy Greenland, and the map is wrong.
Buy it. He wants to invade it.
Well, I don't know.
If they don't sell it, he's going to invade it, which is really good, because I talked to the guys who make these Kawasaki snowmobiles, and they're excited because they're selling a bunch now. So they're very excited for that. And I bet you the Tusk presidency, Elon will figure out a way just to hook it up
Tusk,
and pull it
Tusk
closer to
presidency.
America. Yeah, that's it. That's going to be it's the Tusk presidency. I'm very excited about the Tusk presidency. And JD Vance, I feel bad for him because I don't know how many couches there are in the Oval Office.
Who?
JD Vance, yeah, at the Oval Office. But with the bromance between Musk and Trump, I don't think JD Vance has got much of a chance. I think he's just going to be with his couches in his office, I think.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good point because all the stuff, all the rallies and the it's just Tusk. It's Trump and Musk. Tusk. I love that.
Tusk. That's it.
It's appropriate, right? Elephant in the room. Elephant in the room.
And the best part about this is that you'll be using all this tomorrow on your show. You don't even have to think about it now.
Hang on. Where's my show prep? Hang on. I write this shit down.
I got the lady in the stilettos. I got the tusks. I got all of this. So people in South Africa, you're getting a preview right now.
I got a folder right now I need to open. I got a folder. I'm serious. I'm not even kidding. I need to open this up and write this shit down because this is some good shit, right? We are, Steve, we are coming up with some good shit here. This is great.
You know what you need to do? You could just rewatch the show later and you can get this.
Yeah, I can do that.
From the show.
I do that. I'm not that much of a narcissist. I don't like watching myself.
I'm not a narcissist, but I do like watching myself. So
do you?
So,
apparently you do. Well, your doctor doesn't like watching you, of course. That's
my doctor. What does she know? Anyway,
oh wow, okay.
Everybody's listening. Of course, we all know I was joking, maybe, it's just really not sure. So I heard that the other day. And I was out, and someone said that and I just tears.
It's fantastic.
I got to remember that for the show.
Absolutely brilliant.
I thought that was great. That is a very funny joke.
I'm looking at my prep sheet tomorrow. And actually, I've had Donnie on already this week.
Oh, okay.
I had Donnie on this week, and I'm going to break it down because I'm not going to play the whole call. But he called me, and for real on the show, I had him call me for real.
For real.
Courtesy of AI, had him call me, and I said to him, "How's it going?" And he's like, "Oh, he's really excited. You know, it's going to be the biggest. It's going to be the biggest inauguration ever. Obviously, the best bands, the biggest bands, best music. Obviously, like you've never heard before. All of that came in, and then I said to him, and he said to me, "We're going to have a rocket flyover. You know, like not planes." Rockets. And elongated. I said, how does that work? And he said, no, elongated is gonna do that with one of his self navigating flymo gizmos. Right. So that's gonna be fantastic. Then he said to me, so Trump says to me on the call, he says, so you're South African, aren't you? Now, yes, I am. I've lived most of my life here. I am a South African citizen. I was born in the UK, so I'm whatever I am. So I said, yes, I'm African. So he said, okay, good. And you've got an American work visa. And I went, yes, where's this going? He said, good. I've got Elon said you can sit next to him at the inauguration. You can come join us. And I went, I'm not so sure, sir. And he went, no. We need all the African Americans we can get.
I love that. That's awesome.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
And Elon is truly an African American.
He is an African American. And it just shows you how silly the term is. And I say that unreservedly. It's silly. I mean, it's silly. You're an American. That's what you are.
Yeah.
No. All I can say is I'm personally from a radio creative point of view, comedy point of view, I am absolutely thrilled at the prospect of dealing with this, whatever this is, for the next 4 years. It's going to write itself. There's nothing I have to write. I can literally transcribe speeches. Elon or Don. It's
almost better than the Tusk presidency.
Elon Don, huh?
That almost sounds like a porn actor, though. What's your name?
Elon Don. It's Elon Don.
Elon Don Tusk presidency. You gotta. It sounds like a Chinese guy all of a sudden. What are you? Elon Don Tusk presidency.
Oh wow!
I like egg rolls.
Chinese
ahead,
people
Ross.
are too smart for that. He's
I
not
know.
smart enough to be called Elon Dong. But anyway,
That's true.
oh my God! But it's going to be
Mhm.
great. I have to say, I just want to say, I'm very grateful. Very
You're welcome.
grateful,
We
Don
did
and
it for
Long
you.
there.
Yeah,
I'm
the
very
Tusk
happy.
presidency.
I
I
mean, it's
know, I
going to be
can
great.
tell. And
It's
you have
going
a
to
new
be great.
agent. We're
And
excited for you.
I've got a new talent agent. That's true. On another note, I do. It's been the year has started off well, but this presidency is very exciting for me. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be
Oh, it
great.
is.
We've
I
got
do.
the African connection, which is
Yep.
awesome. And
That's great.
you know what's interesting though?
Yeah.
Since Elon has come into the whole media fold with respect to Trump,
We trust.
in years gone by, they never made such a big deal. They
Yeah.
always spoke about this American guy who was now the richest man in the world. All of a sudden, I've noticed in the last year, now he's South African. Now he's the South African guy. And I went, I'm not sure if that should make me happy or concerned. I don't know. I'm not
Everybody's
sure.
sucking up to him because all week there's been stories on him from Bloomberg to the New York Times. So everyone's like trying to suck up to the Tusk presidency. Like they're not even writing stories about Trump anymore.
Can we
They're
find
just
another
writing
word
about
from
Elon.
suck? Can we find another word to suck? I'm just getting really bad images in my head. Anyway, carry on.
Trusk?
Yeah.
You don't like Trusk? I don't like Elon
Tusk.
Dong. That just sounds
Can
like
I
a porn.
suck? Can I suck on your tusk? Oh God,
There
sorry.
you go. I can see them. That's why
Your
they just
Elon Dong. Oh
Elon
God.
Dong.
Ah,
All
stop it.
sounds like bad porn.
Stop it. Yes.
But I think it's just interesting now that all the newspapers, all the medias are sucking up to the Trusk, and it's really they're all sucking up to Musk because they're afraid Musk's gonna, they know he bought the presidency, and now they're like, now what are we
Sure.
gonna do? And I'm
Sure.
just like, you gotta love a country where our motto is capitalism, and if you have enough of it, you can buy your way into the White House. So
Yeah.
that basically means, and once again, Trump said this a couple of weeks ago. He said, if you have $1 billion, and you want to come to America and do something, we're going to open up the gates for you. So I keep telling the Chinese BYD electric car company, which actually is the #1 car company in the world,
Yes, I
electric-wise,
know
beat
that.
Tesla out.
I know
I was
that.
like,
Yeah.
hey, come over here, build plants and sell your cars here and really screw up Tesla. Number two, build it right next to the Tesla factory here in Texas. And number three, it'll take you about a day to build a factory because child labor. And you'll have cars going out. Like you build on Monday, you'll have cars going out on Friday.
No
It'll be awesome.
tariff. No
No
tariffs.
tariffs. Yeah. And Trump said he'd approve it like that. Loving it. I'm just saying. And I talked to the BYD guys. I want them to do it.
I will say, the tariff thing, I mean, it's hysterical. But if I see very smart people going, oh, whatever, all they're going to do, and it will bring, I think it will bring, it has to, if it goes through, it's going to bring a lot of production to the US. I think it will. It will.
I agree.
Like you just mentioned, BYD, they go, okay, all right, fine. We're not getting involved in a political spat and blah, blah, blah. We'll just move our shit there. It doesn't mean anything to us, nothing, except now we don't pay tariffs. Thank you. We play by those rules. We don't care. We're not changing societies. We're running a business. And I think you'll probably find it'll, on that score, it might actually help a lot of people. But except, I want to say this, though. If you're thinking it's going to create a lot of American jobs, possibly, but I can speak from experience in this country, and I don't judge, but there's a lot of Chinese firms that have come to South Africa and brought a lot of good stuff, but they bring their own people.
Yeah.
They bring their own people that handle all the top stuff, right?
Yeah.
They'll use somebody to wash the cars and dig the trenches. Sure.
No, they'll use robots now.
But the brainy stuff, nah. Yeah. Now they bring their, and they're smart. They're very smart. They bring their people and they go, these are our conditions. I don't know, Steve, I may be talking nonsense, but this is what I've heard. They'll go to places and they'll bring their expertise, which means their people there, and they're absolutely entitled to do it. They say, right, this is the contract. We will build your railway line. We will do all this. But if you see there on line 3, that means we bring our managers, our financiers, and so on, and our technical crew. We will need somebody to paint the walls and drive the cars. So there you go. That's line 4. That's you. Yeah. Okay.
But the funny part to that is we did a deal in Colombia, several of them, and we did come across financing for the rail, and it did go under the Belt and Road program to China. And what you're saying is, and unfortunately, it's not on line three. It's like page the 877. But for
Okay.
what you're saying, that's a very true statement. When they came in, first of all, they're
Yeah.
offering finance at like 0.000. You're not even a basis point, like over 100 years, which nobody can do. And then they came in, they go, we're going to run it. And the Colombian government's like, yeah, that'll be great. And we'll train your people. It just takes 1,000 years. And they go for it because you get cheap financing, you get
Sure.
rails, and they use technology to build everything. Listen, I would love for BYD to come here. Their batteries are better. Their cars look like they're made like, I don't know, real cars instead of slapped together. The interesting part will be most of their factories are all robotic. So realistically, if they build a factory, they're not really, all they're going to do is there'll be some things that'll be great for the country. They'll be selling their cars, which will make Tesla just drop like that. So then the question is, what's the Tusk presidency going to do then? Because then Tesla won't be a thing, even though they're selling cars to China. And I'm not sure what that's all about. But I know he wants to give it the robots and all the other stuff. So it's going to be a very interesting 12 years with the Tusk presidency. We'll see how it goes. So, you know, I'm just saying. I don't think it's a 4-year deal. I think we've elected a king, and I don't think the people realize it yet. And I could be
Well,
wrong. And if I am, that's cool. And if not, hey, it is what it is. As long you want, America's always been great. As long as you make it economically viable, and we're going to pull up everybody. I'm good with that. I don't care. Do whatever you want with the immigrant. I don't care anymore. I have no dog in this fight. I just want, and I've said this before, there's 330 million people in America. Say 200 to 250 million people are struggling. If you don't pull those people up, I don't care what you do for your rich friends. One day, 250 million people are going to want to take a picnic. And a lot of those people are in the military because you pay them squat. You're going to have a problem in this country.
but
So,
Steve, one final thing I want to say
yeah.
about that, which I do find interesting, is during the Reagan era, during Reagan years, and I suppose going back to Nixon and so on, the Republican Party, if I remember, I don't remember, I wasn't alive, sort of, but I know it was more of a rich person's party.
Correct.
It was more the elites. Now, over the last, I don't know what it is, 10, 15, 20 years, the Republican Party has become, it seems to have become the working man, the blue collar guy party.
Yeah.
Now, and yet, what I find weird, and it's fine, whatever, but what I find, maybe you can help me understand this. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing. But you got a guy who is now, is he a billionaire? I don't know. He probably is. Trump. Okay, he's done well. He was given money. I'm not going to debate his business skills and blah, blah, blah. Fact is, he's a wealthy guy. He's a very privileged guy. And great. I would certainly have loved to have had that, and so would everybody else. So I don't, that's fine. So he's done that, and whatever. But what's interesting is you've got a guy there who's got all that money, and he's done whatever he's done, and he seems to be the voice for people who've got nothing.
Correct.
And I've always thought to myself, how would he understand really the struggle of the working man? I'm not saying that Kamala Harris would have understood it. I'm not saying it's not a Democrat Republican thing. I'm just wondering, where's the guy who's fought his way up that for me would represent more of what I would call an American ideal? That's the guy or the woman that I think would have a better understanding of. I don't think you necessarily, the thing about America is I don't think you necessarily want an elite as a president. It's built into the country. It escaped from monarchies and things like that. The Constitution is, we're no more kings, no more monarchy. We don't want that. This is what we are. To hell with you, Britain, and American the revolution. Goodbye, cheers. We're on our own. Sorry, independence, War of Independence. I'm just saying that. So that's kind of built into the DNA of the country. And now you've got a situation where people are you mentioned them, 200 million people, really struggling. They're really struggling. It's almost like the American dream has become a nightmare. It's very difficult for them. And the guy they see, I mean, we can analyze this. And I'm not saying it's not true, but there he is. How is he going to translate their hopes into reality?
This is the easy answer there is.
How they would think a man like that, and I'm not having a go at him or having a go at them, but is he the right? You see what I'm saying?
Well, that's very simple.
Weird.
This
Weird
is the
for me.
simplest answer in the world. He got up and he basically said the reason that you're having financial difficulties is because
Mm.
the immigrants, the undocumented immigrants, took your jobs away, and these people did this. You know, Musk and Trump are fighting over the HB1. Like Musk and Silicon Valley need HB1 people, and Trump's like, no, we don't want them either. They're like, we're becoming like Poland now. Don't give us anybody. So what's happening is you get on stage, and if you remember, there was a guy in the 30s with a mustache who did this a lot. Said the same thing. He said what people wanted to hear. So Trump's just telling the people what they want to hear. It's not your fault. We're going to make Germany, I mean, America great again. We're going to get rid of the Jews. I mean, the immigrants. You know, the rhetoric is no different from the rhetoric of 100 years ago. And all you have to do is just play on that part. And that's what gets you in front of everybody.
Steve,
If I want to
know
be
this.
president, if I want to be
Even-
president,
Mm.
all I have to do is say, what's the 5 things that the Americans fear or whatever while Trump's president? And all I have to do in 2 years is get on YouTube and start campaigning and going, Trump didn't do, he's this, he's this, and tell lies and get some rich guy, you know, not Elon, but another rich guy to go,
Oh,
yeah.
Jeff.
And then Jeff Bezos. And all of a sudden, I would be president. It's that simple. All I have to do is grab some pussy, apparently, marry a girl from the Eastern Bloc country, and you're done. But I'm just saying, Americans, the people that are gravitating towards him, and I have friends that are very wealthy that like him. And I do like a lot of what he says, but I keep saying, get me through Zed. But a lot of the people that aren't wealthy, that are struggling or that are just making it, when he says we're going to do this and we're going to make and we're going to make and we're going to give businesses this, they're all like, that's great, that's great. But he has to do it. And they're saying because of his second term, now he knows what failed the first term. Like he's put all these people in power with him to make sure when he says, I want to do this, it goes through. Where before he did it. So it'll be very interesting to see. But I think that has a lot to do with it. He just gave the rhetoric that the American people wanted to hear. And that was it. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all he did. He just gave rhetoric.
Okay. I'm I don't want to be petrified. I know this, and I'll tell you what is scary is if you're really bored,
right?
And for some reason it came up on my algorithm. They have translated Hitler's speeches in the 30s using AI, using his voice, the tone of his voice, but in English. They've popped it into English, and it came up the other day, and I thought, all right, deep breath, let me have a listen to this. And I'm going to say this. The man was very eloquent. He was very eloquent. He was very clear about who was to blame. He said things like, and I'm trying to remember, he said things like, we're supposed to take all these people and give the Jews this, and they have taken all this from us. And what do we get? And it was a very give and take. It was simple, but I have to say he was very articulate about the whole thing. And I watched this and I thought, it's almost infectious to watch this. This I am going to solve your problem, and you have done this to us. And why are these people here? And you haven't given us the resources to fix them. You took away all this from us, and now we're supposed to do this and give them that, and they've taken this. And I went, where have I heard this before?
Yeah.
But the words are scary. It is. And this was in the 1930s, and this is now, that was 90 years ago. And it worked obviously very well for him. And you just think, for the love of God, people do some, I'd say research.
They don't. They require more than 30 seconds.
When I asked the question of you, I kind of knew what you were going to say, but I just wanted to make the point that we know all this.
Yeah.
This is known. We know what politicians are going to do. So if you were thinking about your family, your wife, your husband, or your kids, and you were having an argument with your neighbor, and you'd heard it all before, you wouldn't follow the same. What I'm saying is, if you have a fight with someone, you've heard the fight before, and you know how the fight ends, you wouldn't do it again, would you?
Right.
But
of course
that's what they're doing. But people know this, and they go, but that sounds really good. Yeah, but this is what they said before.
Yeah.
There's nothing different. There's no change. It's not a
History,
new
my friend,
path.
repeats
That's
itself.
what's weird.
Yeah,
So why do you
history
think
does.
it's going to end? Why do people think it's going to end differently? It won't.
It won't. Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I know. I agree. And that is the end of today's show, everybody. January 9th, 2025. It's the end of the world. Thank God. Saturday Night Live and Rob Vegas show in South Africa are going to be hysterical for the next 12 years because of the Trusk, Elon Dong, whatever, presidency.
Elon
Looking
Dong.
forward to it. Elon Dong. Roll will be back next Thursday with his insights. Or maybe, who knows?
Whatever they are.
Insights.
It's a bit of a strong word there.
I know, it's being a kind of liberal. Anyway,
Can I just introduce a disclaimer and say, please don't take anything
we say seriously. That's right.
Nothing.
Except about the Trust presidency. And that fat chick from Canada. That was serious. But other than that, don't take anything else seriously. Except BYD coming to America and the Cuban embargo being over. Other than that, it's all BS.
Okay.
There you go. Don't forget to subscribe and like. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, hello. All the links are below to find us wherever you are. We'll see everybody next week. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great week. Cheers.
Thank you so much for listening to this Roald Woods, Rob Vega, whatever the hell he wants to call himself, fellow. You know, this podcast thing, it makes him feel very important, and he's a difficult fellow as it is to deal with. So thank you so much for putting up with him, and do take care.